Hello, my name is Christian Fusco. I live across the street. I'm also a school board director in North Penn. I brought this with me tonight. This is something that was given to me a couple years ago by my grandmother, hanging on the wall. It's an award that was given to my grandfather, Donald Spangler, who was a pilot during World War II. And it was given to him for 35 successful missions. He was a bomber pilot. He flew a plane called Beelzebub's Babe, where he flew in enemy combat territory 35 times and lived to tell the tale. The thing about my grandfather, and I didn't get to know him, he passed away long before I was born, but he was a Republican, right? And he came from a time during the war, after the war, where there was a moral clarity about certain things, right? And accepting jokes or making light of the Holocaust and making light of Nazis was one of those lines in the sand the society drew. There was no gray area there, right? And I'm 47 years old. And when I grew up, when I was in school, we had to watch black and white films of the aftermath of the Holocaust. And we saw mass graves and bodies in trucks being transported. And as gruesome as that was, it was important that we showed that to children so that they understood the gravity of that moment. And again, in the 80s and the 90s, there was that line in the sand. And to the comment that you made about it being a shame that it had gotten beyond Towamencin, I think where you're missing something is we've really started to normalize an awful lot of things in our country that not so long ago would have been unfathomable. Electing a felon, for one, as president of the United States. Releasing 1,500 felons who stormed our Capitol in a sweeping move back into society might have been another. Rounding up neighbors and immigrants and saying churches and schools are no longer sanctuaries for children, right? These were lines in the sand that, regardless of your political affiliation, we thought were wrong. We don't see those lines anymore. They're being blurred. So what you missed, Mr. Wilson, was that when it got out into the public, when it was elevated, because let's make no mistake, Laura put it out into the public, all right? That was her decision. When it got elevated, what you saw was a response from not just this community and not just our neighboring communities and not just people around this country, but around the globe that recognize that we are getting dangerously close to crossing another line in the sand and that people don't want that anymore. And I encourage them to keep up that behavior. I encourage them to push back on normalizing this type of hate in this country because it's the only way we're going to save it from what's coming. Thank you.